November 6, Echo Charlie India.
November 6, Echo Charlie India. Is that a Roger?
Echo Charlie India. Is that a Roger?
That is a Roger.
Roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, and what's the name there?
Name here is Mike. Name is Mike. We've spoken a couple of times, probably 6 months to a year ago, Jim, getting this thing, I hope, improvements, and I just wanted to get another review from you.
Roger, I just moved over to my local antenna. I've got a copy on you. I'll have to check out between my local antenna and Rochester as far as which one's better. But if you'll give me about 10 to 15 seconds and discuss your antenna system, I'll check that out and be able to listen to your audio, Roger.
Sounds good. Hustler 5-band Trax vertical, ground-mounted with 24 radios spread out around it. The radio here is a HEATHKIT HW-101, which I built in 1976. So there are none of the usual accoutrements that you would be adjusting, like compressors and EQ and all that stuff inside the radio. There's a gain control of that kit.
Roger, Mike. Well, sometimes we just have to try our best to hocus pocus our setup. Let me ask you a question. Does it have ACL meter? ALC?
ALC meter, yes, which intermittently seems to work. Sometimes it's going just fine. Sometimes, like now, it's pretty much resting there on 0. But I do have the mic gain set to the recommended level here. As you tune it up, you bring it up to a level where it doesn't increase anymore, and that's where you're supposed to leave it. However, I do have some decent equipment ahead of the radio. I've got a Sennheiser shotgun mic. I've got the DBX286S mic processor, and I want to just run that through some of its paces here, just to make sure that I've got the amount of compression reasonably good, and there is a low enhanced and a high frequency enhanced for the audio that I can play with there. Not really an EQ, but kind of a bass and treble control. So that's...
Oh, well, gosh, you have external capabilities. Say no mo, say no mo. The thing is, I wish you could get that ALC meter running, because we do want to run that at mid-scale to 2/3. And, if you've got a hammer, you might tap it, see if you can revive it to get it to working. But otherwise, if you would like, what kind of nomenclature do you have on the compression part of your external equipment?
Well, on the DBX here, in compression, there are 2 controls. One is called drive, and one is called density. So I've got the drive up so that it just sends enough signal into the compressor, and I'm assuming density is the amount of processing it does. That is set right in the middle right now, the density. Right now I've got it set all the way down, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now it's set all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, any difference on any of that?
The density didn't seem to make much of a difference, but what do you have? You've got an internal mic gain control. Is that a Roger?
On the radio, yeah. There's when you tune up the 101, what you do is you tune everything up and then just increase the mic gain until it doesn't increase output anymore, and that's where I've had it for basically years. And sometimes the ALC meter says we're talking, sometimes it says it doesn't. I can certainly increase the amount of drive coming out of this compressor into the radio if you want to try that.
Gosh, you know, the ALC is actually the heart of the radio. What I would suggest is maybe we try a little bit more compression in the front, because I still see you you're fairly loose as far as dynamic range. You're probably about 7 dB, 6 dB dynamic range, and we really want that to be about 3 dB. So we need a little more fattening going on, and usually we use that, divide that between the compressor and the limited, well, actually the ALC level, and normally we would run that ALC level at mid-scale to 2/3. So why don't we do this? Why don't we, do you have an input level control for your compressor?
Absolutely. So let me crank up the, that basically would be, let me crank up the, that basically would be the drive. Let's crank that up from the 9 o'clock position to the 12 o'clock position, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, we're starting to stonewall on the limiter. I think it's the limiter. Now, you've got an output control of that compressor?
Yeah, but that's all the way down. I mean, it doesn't turn down to 0. It just turns it down to your choice of line level out or mic level out, and I've got it all the way down at the moment. Want me to lower the drive a little bit on the input?
No, I was thinking of going the other way. I want to find out where your actual ALC level is. Without a meter, I can tell, you know, when it starts to really stonewall. So bring the output of the compressor up slowly and tell me as you go where it is, Roger.
All right, will do. So right now we're at about as low as it would go, which is about the 7 o'clock position. Here's the 10 o'clock position. 1, 2, 3, too high, but there it is anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, too much. And my right at that moment, my SDR, Milford SDR, dumped me. You know, right at that very moment. You know, it takes I don't know, bad luck or whatever it is. Come on, Milford, get your stuff together there and come back where you were. Okay, I got it back. Take that back where it was.
Okay, have done that. Let me mess with the mic level control on the radio here. And I've got it set at about 1 o'clock, 1:30, which is where pretty much it's always been. But if I bring that up to about 4 o'clock, see if that made any difference. Or if I bring that down to about 10 o'clock, we'll see if that made any difference.
Go back to where you were. I'm still fighting this Milford SDR. I think I've about got it now. Go back to where we were just moments ago before we started our latest soiree into tuning, Roger.
Roger, okay. So there we are. According to the processor, what am I doing? About 6 to 9 dB of compression, so they claim. And no matter where I put the mic level on the radio, there's no indication on ALC at all. So I'm not sure if that's got to be an issue inside the radio. I'll have to look at one of these times. But I mean, if this is serviceable, then we'll just go with this for a while. Retune your transmitter.
It's looking pretty good. The thing is, it does occasionally have a 3 dB punch through, whereas what the limiter ahead of the ALC would usually take care of that, which indicates to me that you might be slightly below recommended level going to your ALC. So if you could very judiciously bring your level up maybe through your mic gain. You say you're about at 1 o'clock. If you went to about 3 o'clock, and we could listen to that.
All right, well, let's do that. So here's the 1 o'clock-ish, and here is 3 o'clock, and here's all the way up.
Yeah, it was back probably better where you were, back to that 1 o'clock position. I think you're pretty good there for, all things considered on the age of that radio, Roger.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, if it sounds competitive at least to most of the stations that you'll hear, I see on the watt meter we're peaking about 60 or 50 to 60 watts on average here when I'm talking. So I don't know we're going to get a whole lot better than that.
Roger. Now you say you have some external EQ that you might want to check out?
EQ that you might want to check out?
Yeah, there's on this unit here is basically a low-level boost and a high-level boost that let me turn them all. I've got both of them down as low as they'll go right now. So there's a starting point, okay?
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to bring the bottom end up about halfway. So the bottom end is up about halfway now. Did that do anything noticeable?
Well, it helps you out as far as the width of your bend, as far as I'm looking at it on the frequency meter and the analyzer, and you were kind of shy on the bottom end, so that helped out, Roger.
That helped out, Roger.
Okay, very good. Just for grins, we'll bring it up from 12 o'clock to the 3 o'clock position and see if maybe that's too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead.
Give me that again in the terms of telling me about your radio, about 10 or 15 seconds.
About 10 or 15 seconds.
Certainly. Okay, so beautiful HEATHKIT HW101. HEATHKIT HW. The mic here is a Sennheiser shotgun, and then the DBX286S is the outboard processor. Right, outboard processor. Right now, the bass enhancement is at about the 3 o'clock position, and I'm going to put it back to where you said it had made a little bit of an improvement here at the 12 o'clock position. So is there any real difference between the two?
You went from you're talking about the output level control, 1 o'clock, Roger?
Control 1 o'clock, Roger?
No. This is the low frequency enhancer on the processor.
When you went to the low frequency processor, it did sound better as far as your audio curve as I look at it on the spectrum analyzer, Roger.
Look at it on the spectrum analyzer, Roger.
Okay. Well, I've got it set right now where you said, yeah, that brought it up a little. I was going to bring it up even more, like right now. I've just turned it up from the 12 o'clock position to the 3 o'clock position to see if we've gone too much.
Well, I'm starting to hear a little interaction with your compressor. As you change your EQs, the compressor is going to be set in a different position. I'm not sure how your outboard equipment is wired, and whether the compressor is at the end of the EQ chain or at the beginning of the EQ chain, Roger.
The beginning of the EQ chain, Roger.
Yeah, the compressor is ahead of the EQ. Let me just bring that back to the 12 o'clock where it was. And there is also, of course, a high frequency adjustment here, and right now I've got it set at about mid-scale 12 o'clock. So curious if that helped the intelligibility or just added a bunch of high-end splatter.
I think we're onto something here. I just got over to my local antenna, which is very flat, much flatter than the SDRs. So and it's looking good. Just give me another 10 or 15 seconds on the. Tell me something I don't know.
The moon is 225,000 miles away, I think. And I just bought me an SDR myself earlier this week, and having great fun with that. So that is interesting, and in fact, I'm watching myself on that, but it looks like the sun is so bright when you're looking at your own signal. But, okay, so right now, both the bottom end and the top end enhancing for the audio control are at mid-scale.
Okay, might be just a little too much top end. Is there a way that you could do about half of that top end push? Just about half of where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go down to about half of that. Here's the 9 o'clock position on the top end.
Roger, I was just hearing a little bit of rip on the top end at that location. So this one is just perfect, very clean. Roger?
Good. That's what we're looking for. Loud, clean, Something that won't be too obtrusive. Loud, something that won't be too obtrusive, but will cut through like 100 watts is supposed to.
Exactly. Now, I think you indicated you weren't doing exactly 100 watts now.
Doing exactly 100 watts now.
Yeah. The radio is 100 watt out, and as I look at the cheap old watt meter here, just looking at the average, I'm hitting about 50 to 60 watts out on average peaks.
Yeah, is that watt meter have a PEP position?
PEP position?
No, it has a 100 watt position and a 1,000 watt position, and that's it.
Right, but I'm talking about PEP versus RMS. RMS would show about 50 watts as opposed to PEP, which is a much faster movement of the meter.
Much faster movement of the meter.
Yeah, no, this is just your plain old RMS meter. Very cheap. All right, well, there's not much else we can mess with here, so I think other than, increase the level of what's coming out of the processor, and I think we've already established that we don't want to do that much more because that started to distort. So I guess we will sit tight and give this a run for a while. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Mike. Get the Gorilla Tape out and tape everything down. You have got it aligned just perfectly, Roger.
Roger. One final question, N6ECI. I had reports of about 120 hertz hum a couple of days ago, and actually I have I have an impedance matching transformer between this compression unit and the radio, and replaced that with a much bigger, better one. This thing is about 2 or 3 pounds in weight, full of iron, and I think that reduced the hum. So do you hear anything like that?
No, it's crystal clear, no problem. And I've gone through the SDRs and my local antenna, and my local antenna receiver would indicate that it's fairly flat down to 100 cycles. So if there were anything abnormal going on, I would be hearing it. Roger?
Roger. Well, that's good. Well, appreciate that, because I had several people saying, "Hey, there's a hum. It's not real bad, but it's noticeable." And so I ended up just replacing. I had this very cheap little impedance matching transformer about the size of a quarter, and actually fit inside the XLR connector. And I found in the junk box this old one here that you could use as a blunt weapon for if you wanted to kill somebody with, and decided to try that, and it seems to have solved that problem immensely. So I'll let you run on and get to somebody else. I've taken way too much of your time here, but I will look forward to giving this a listen on YouTube, and appreciate all your help, Jim.
Roger, Mike. I would say draw an outline of the way that transformer is sitting where it's sitting, so you can keep it exactly there, because sometimes transformers, particularly input mic transformers, tend to be subject to prevailing electromagnetic fields, and so you are at the moment are clean of that, and you want to be sure that you keep that transformer oriented just like it is. Roger?
Just like it is, Roger.
All right, good tip. Well, we'll do that, and we'll check in again in a few weeks or so and see if everything's still copacetic. So again, appreciate all your help. You're sounding great. 20 dB over 9 here in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. So till next time, 73 N6ECI.
Roger, Mike, 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. In between time, if you want to hear your radio and our setup, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 10/30/20, that will take you to our QSO, this recording actually, and so you can hear everything we did. So 3 for now, and 73 for now, and we'll catch you later, sir.
We'll catch you later, sir.
Very good. 73 N6ECI.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.